What's up, my fellow Trashinators? Welcome back to another episode of Good Content. Don't know why that happened, but today, as you saw in the title, hopefully, we're taking a look at Barbie. Yeah, I posted on my Instagram story that, I think it was it was this week, as of filming. Things have been crazy lately, so memory's been a bit weird. But yeah, so this week I got Barbie on Blu-ray. I had not watched it beforehand. This is the first time I've done something like this, where I hadn't seen the movie, but I still got the physical thing that I'll keep forever, you know? And it was weird, because I heard great things about Barbie, you know? Everyone basically did. Like, the reason it was so big is because it's a connection to Oppenheimer, which I have not watched and probably will not watch. But, you know, I wanted to watch it ever since it was released. I was like, I gotta watch it. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it came out when I was at the tail end of my unemployment. So, you know, I just didn't get to see it. I was really busy. Things are slowing down because where I work, it's busier in the summer because they have a whole, like, patio where they let people, you know, be out there. So there's more space. And that's, like, the whole draw of the place is that when it's summertime, everyone goes there. So since it's getting colder, it's just... There's not as much people there. And even though it's Black Friday, you know, a little tangent. Today, even though it was very thankfully scheduled for an evening shift, like a midday shift, I thought 100% it was gonna be slammed this afternoon. But once I got off work and once I went out to get a few things, some Modelo, specifically, and a certain little character right there. Yeah, little announcement. Next Friday, I'm going to be covering this guy. I'm so excited. It almost made me want to cover him today, but I'm going to hold off. I'm going to love him more until I sing my praises of this reissue that's already been said a lot of praises about. Alright, so yeah. And when I was on my way back from getting a few things, those things, I noticed that it was still dead. It's still dead. Because even though they're usually between where I arrive and when I leave my shift, those are the quietest times, like the quietest times. So there's a better transition from day shift to night shift. But on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, there had to be more than just like one person there. And that's what there was. So yeah, that's how my day went. It was, you know, it was a normal day where I thought it was going to get crazier, but it wasn't. There's some unique stuff, some new stuff, but not enough to like really make it, you know, notable. But yeah, so what? I forgot what I was going on. I think I just went on a whole tangent. Anyway, Barbie, yeah. I got it. I watched it. When did I watch it? I forgot which day I watched it. But if I go look back at my the Instagram story archive, I'll find it. So I know, just not right now. Alright, I have the information out there. But I watched it. It was late at night. Well, no, it was like, yeah, I got back home after a midday shift like this. I took a few minutes to relax, you know, catch my breath. Then I watched the movie. I had some food, ate that, 20 minutes later, passed out. That's what happened to me. So I fell asleep because I was so tired, woke up, it was like 9 something. Then I finished the movie. And yeah, if you just want to leave and you don't want to hear a non-binary person talk about, you know, a political film, it's good. Go watch it if you're curious at all. So yeah, that's basically all I think about Barbie. It's cool and it's political. That's the baseline. So yeah, I guess we'll cover the story because that's all I do in these videos is cover the story. Add my own thoughts. That's sort of the main thing. So yeah, we open with a 2001 Space Odyssey reference, which I don't like. That's one of the last pieces of media I just don't like. I watched it. It's pretentious. That's it. Says the person who's going to be talking about Barbie for the next 20 minutes. So, yeah. Anyway, it opens with a reference talking about how Barbie was the next big step in little girls' toys. But it does, you know, talk about like how, well, Barbie was supposed to be like in every person's toy, every girl's toy, or something like that. I forgot. Anyway, they're talking about like, they're making jokes about how Barbie was supposed to be the new best thing and make everything better, but it didn't. But don't tell Barbie in Barbie Land. And then we cut to Barbie Land where we see the opening with an artist I shall not name due to current events. Because yes, like a month or two after Barbie came out, sort of the major thing that came out is something bad about one of the musical artists who sort of was a main part of it. They were literally in the opening. They made the opening song. So yeah, but I shall not name them. But yeah, we get the opening. We see Barbie's sort of day-to-day life, literally, because they all do. Everyone in Barbie Land does the same exact thing every day. And so they do one cycle, but then suddenly, the next day, Barbie's now, like, super depressed. But because she's Barbie, well, it's in this story, there isn't just a Barbie who's everything. There's Barbies who represent a certain Barbie in our world, the toy. And the Barbie we focus on is stereotypical Barbie. You know, the white chick, blonde hair, blue eyes, is all preppy and stuff. She's just Barbie. So, we focus on her. Focus on her. The second day, she's all depressed, and she's thinking about death a lot, and she's just not in a Barbie mood, you know? And the point in which this gets crazy is when she's at the beach. Again, the beach is sort of like a prevalent part of the story. She gets there, she takes off her high heels, and then suddenly her feet go flat. And that's when everything goes crazy. That's when people find out that she's not stereotypical Barbie anymore. She's not a Barbie. She's sort of becoming normal. So everyone tells her to go to Weird Barbie, my favorite character. And so she does. But she's terrified. So she tries to get people to join her to go to Weird Barbie, but it doesn't work out. So she goes to Weird Barbie's playhouse or Weird House or whatever it's called. And she's in there and it's Weird Barbie. She's weird. And Weird Barbie is like, all right, what's wrong with you? And Barbie tells her, I can't stop thinking about death and my feet are flat. And she's like, oh, this has never happened before. This must mean the human who's playing with you is playing with you in a negative light and thus changing your way of life and disrupting the fabrics of reality. So she's like, all right, you need to go to Earth, find the person playing with you, and make her stop and make you normal again. And Barbie's like, all right. So she goes back to main Barbie land, gets some stuff, and she's like, all right, bye everyone. Bye everyone. I'm not sure if she's like hesitant there. I'm pretty sure she is. So she's on her way. She goes, but uh-oh, secretly, here comes Ken. Stereotypical Ken, of course. Her counterpart. He pops up. And now they're going together because, well, Barbie knows she needs to do this. She would rather go back, but she knows she needs to do this. So instead of bringing Ken back, she goes to the real world. And there's a sort of like running joke with the transition between Barbie world and the real world. I'll talk about it later towards the end. So now they're in the real world. And Barbie soon finds out in the real world, women don't run everything and the men are basically subservient. Men run everything and women are basically subservient. And this freaks her out and she starts to have a movie-long existential crisis about it. Because she thought, oh, I made the world better. All the Barbies did. Women are supposed to be running the world like we do in Barbie Land. But it doesn't, and it freaks her out to no end. But she has a mission. She has to make herself better by telling the person playing with her toy in the real world to stop. It's making her feel better. So the next like 40 minutes, I think, like 20 to 40 minutes, are searching for the kid playing with her. So Ken goes off searching for stuff. He goes on a whole escapade. That's a correct word for this. Trying to figure out what to do, and he finds out and he loves that men can rule the world. So he goes on a whole mission about it. He tries to get jobs with no experience. Doesn't work out, obviously. The closest one he got to was being a lifeguard, because stereotypical Ken's job is to work with beach. Beach is this thing. So yeah. Also, there's like a funny joke earlier where one other Ken is fighting with this Ken, and it's where there's this thing called a beach off, where it's just two Kens fighting on the beach, and they just keep repeating, oh, you want to have a beach off? Yeah, let's beach each other off. Let's fucking beach each other. They don't say fucking. This is a PG film, all right? There's some dark themes, but it's PG, I think. So that's sort of my favorite joke. It's just saying beach off. You want to have a beach off? So yeah. Ken fails at trying to get a job just being a man. So now he's sort of upset, but while this is happening, Barbie has a moment trying to find she sort of has a moment with this older woman at a bus bench, and I haven't watched any videos, but like discussing and breaking down what Barbie means entirely. I got most of it, but this scene I'm not sure. But at this point, Ken and Barbie meet back up, and they figure, oh, Barbie has to sort of like figure out where the person playing with her is by, you know, just going deep and trying to remember the memories that were played when she, or the memories that were thought of when she was being played with as a toy. So she thinks and she realizes, oh, there's a school nearby that the person goes to. And so they both go. Ken and Barbie go to the school with no restraint. They go in and just nothing bad happens. Besides, Barbie thinks she finds the kid playing with her. I mean, she does. But there's a twist about it. She goes up to the kid, and this kid's really mean. This kid's really mean, but she, you know, she's progressive. She's well-knowledge. So, with that meanness and the knowledge, she uses it to berate anyone, you know. Berate anyone who sort of comes across her negatively. Or, like, just annoys her slightly. So, that's what she does to Barbie. And, of course, Barbie has a mental breakdown. So, that's what happens. And so she just leaves the school and sits outside under a tree. While Ken goes to the library and learns about patriarchy. This is when I thought, oh, because this had been a while after Barbie was sort of being memed a lot. And at the time, the memes were like, oh, you watched Oppenheimer and you felt nothing. But when you watch Barbie, you got a full-on breakdown. Now I get it. This movie does get quite deep. And so, Ken learns about patriarchy. He loves that horses are involved slightly. And so he gets obsessed. But a little spoiler, again, spoilers. He just likes horses. That's the whole reason he did this. He says later that he got uninterested the second he figured out horses weren't entirely involved. So that's a little thing for later, but so Ken finds Barbie again. And she's taken to... Mattel. Mattel's headquarters. By the way, this guy's Hasbro. The Spider-Man's Hasbro. Mattel is a separate thing. They own Barbie, He-Man, and honestly, quite a bit of Batman, I think. I think it's Batman. So DC, Mattel owns them. Hasbro owns Marvel. So that's a little toy business for you. Which is one of the reasons I watched Barbie. I'm a toy person. I like toys. I got my whole display right here. That's what this light is. It may light up most of my room, but it's mainly for this display. So yeah. That and the political aspects, that made me want to watch this. And see how they exactly interact. And as we see, the owners of Mattel, all men. They're all old white men. Not all white, but all older men. So, bam, patriarchy. So yeah, she goes there. Mattel brought her there because they're scared and they want to put her in a literal box. You see, putting someone into a box is often a metaphorical term to limit their freedom and sort of keep them in their place so they don't like outstretch or harm anything to your sort of ideals. But they put it literally because they're all idiots. The whole round table of Mattel are all idiots. Which I'm surprised that went by as well as it did. I think it has to do with something with something later, but I'll talk about it later. So, of course, during all this, Ken goes back to Barbie Land, and so he integrates, well, patriarchy into Barbie land. Hair keeps getting into my ear. So yeah. Of course, Barbie doesn't fall for it. The second she sort of senses that the literal box, like the toy box the Barbie would be in, is sort of sketchy, she's like, all right, I gotta use the bathroom. By the way, they make a big point about them not having genitals. Genitals. They make a big point of that because, again, that's a very well-known point of like Barbie. Like their main point is to dress them up however you want. That's sort of their main thing. They're dress-up dolls. So either they give them underwear, like permanent underwear, or they give them nothing, which Mattel chose. That and underwear sometimes, but we won't talk about because I don't know that much about Barbie. I know a lot, but not that much. So yeah. Anyway, so Barbie leaves under the cover of going to the bathroom. She leaves, and there's like one major moment. She's sneaking around and she goes into a room, a random office, and she finds this, like, most of the room is entirely black, but there's like a little square of a nice, like, golden sort of small house. And sitting in the kitchen is a nice old lady. So Barbie's like, hello? And she's like, oh, who might you be? And she's like, I just need some help. I need to hide. And she's like, and the old lady's like, oh, sure. Do you want some tea? Barbie talks about how she's not used to having liquid in cups or anything in anything when it comes to like food and stuff. So Mattel finally gets to the room, and the old lady helps Barbie by saying, take the closet, it'll take you right to the stairs. Barbie says goodbye, and the old lady says, bye, Barbie. And for a second, Barbie's like, how? But she doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth. She just goes. And then once she gets to the ground floor, what's waiting outside for her? The mean girl and her mom. So again, she goes straight into the car and they drive off. And while they're driving off and being chased by Mattel, the mom, we find out, she's the one who's been playing with Barbie. She's been having a lot of thoughts about like death and like sad real world stuff. Also, they mentioned earlier that Barbie was literally turning into a real person. She was getting so fucking... If you've been noticing, I've been looking over off to the side of my phone, because that's where my turtle is. And I've noticed that her head was sort of drooping down in her like water bucket in her tank, because it was a whole thing. She had shell rot. She's really good now, but she was in her water bucket and her head was just drooping down. It's been like a day or two, so the water's dried out, so she wasn't like drowning herself. And it was just staying there the entire video, and I got scared. But when I raised my voice just now, she raised her head up and she moved her arm. So that really, I didn't want to have to stop this video to see if she was, I don't want to even think about that. I'm going to just say this, she's supposed to outlive me. Not because I want to die, but because I know I'm not going to make it very far. She's definitely going to be there long after. Because you look at me and you think, oh, this guy's probably going to live like 40 years. While that is very demeaning, I do think I'm going to live a solid 60. Because that's where my grandma, how long she lived. And based on how things are going, I think that's how long my dad's gonna live. So, I don't think he's doing well, but whose dad isn't, you know? So yeah. Okay, so they're driving off. Barbie finds out that, oh, that's why she's thinking about death constantly. So Barbie's like, all right, so I need you to stop doing that, but we need to get away from them. So let's go back to Barbie Land. So they go. And of course, Mattel knows. So Mattel goes after them. I forgot there's 2 other people. Of course, this is like I mentioned before. This is the part of the running joke I mentioned. Because every time they travel from the real world to Barbie world, besides when Ken goes back, but he's Ken. He's not really a person. There were sequentially more people. So first it was Barbie and Ken, and then Barbie and the mom and the mean girl, and then you got the entirety of the round table of Mattel, which was like 20 people, all going together. So now Barbie's back, and she finds out, oh, a lot of things have changed, including the fact it's not Barbie Land anymore, it's now Ken Land. And all the Kens have taken over because stereotypical Ken has brought patriarchy to the Barbie world. So things are now very masculine, we'll say. So yeah, now all the Barbies are subservient little mind slaves, kinda. And so stereotypical Barbie has another breakdown because she's a living toy. She doesn't have a very wide scope of reality, especially in Barbie Land. I would too. I would break down a lot if I found out that all of this, not real. I would break down immediately and never go back. So yeah. She has a breakdown. And so now the mother and the mean girl, they're like, all right, she's given up, let's go, because she did. So they leave. But it turns out, Alan, again, fuck, I forgot to mention Alan. The best male character in this film. The best female main character is undoubtedly Weird Barbie. And then the best male character is Alan. Just straight up. So it turns out Alan was hiding out because he's not a Ken. He doesn't want to be around this patriarchy. He just wants to be Alan. So, bop, 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 bop. He pops out of the car, again, a recurring joke with the leaving Barbie Land and the popping out of the car like Ken did. But they're gonna leave for good. Because, again, it looks very bad. I'm kind of running out of steam here. I'm getting too old for these long form videos. Alright, let's just speed through it. So, after being reignited, after getting a reignited passion, the mom goes back with everyone. They find stereotypical Barbie. They tell her, hey, we gotta do this. They go to Weird Barbie. Wait, no. Weird Barbie took stereotypical Barbie. And Weird Barbie's forming an alliance to try and overthrow the Kens. And that's when the mom, Alan, and the mean girl get there. So they talk. And the mom has this huge speech about, you know, life and stuff. It's very moving. To the point where the mind wash Barbie they had there trying to figure out how to bring her back. That's when it works. Being told that, hey, this is bad and you're more independent than this. You work better. You're better than this. That's basically the main moral, is that, well, things can suck. You don't have to make it suck. So, shit. So now they know how to, they know how to, you know, reawaken the Barbies. So that is when they do it. They enact this very intricate plan where they just sort of swap out Barbies. And so they just do it. They reawaken every Barbie. They make sure that everything's fine now with them. So now they have to make sure make sure the Kens stop enacting patriarchy, because they were about to enact a vote to rewrite the Constitution so that the Kens can rule the sort of government they have there. It's not really. It's more of like a show, like real life. But yeah. So they enact this plan where it sort of make the Kens all hate each other. And there's two main forces that start a war. You got stereotypical Ken and the Ken from before that was talking about the beach off. Again, best joke. So these two forces have the beach off. It's just an unviolent war. Because again, there aren't guns in Barbie Land, so they just fight with pool noodles and inflatable rings, rafts, umbrellas. That's probably the most dangerous thing they have there. So yeah, that happens, and this is when we finally get the I'm Just Ken song. You know, the song that's very well known from this movie that became a huge meme that even fucking SNL made a parody of it. That's also really good. Well, pretty good. I had to knock it down a notch. But yeah. This is when it finally happens. Right at the end to, you know, show the pinnacle of what's happening. And this song reunites everyone. I almost forgot to mention. I almost forgot to fucking mention another song. Not from the certain creator I will not talk about, but by someone I actually admire. Pink Panthers. Her songs are some of the best I've ever heard of. It's very, well, some of her more recent stuff, they've taken it down a bit to be more emotional, and I can respect that. But the rest of her songs are basically just breakcore with, you know, actual song lyrics over them. And they're fantastic. So when I found out that she's going to be in this movie, or her music is, I was excited, and it's really good. It does sound a bit similar to another song she made, but I won't discredit anything from that. That just means it's a style, you know? But before I watched the movie, I had been listening to the song from the movie a lot. It's called Angel. And I really loved it. I had it on my Spotify. Every day I worked, I would at least hear it once. And when I finally watched the movie, it played during the Ken and Barbie being in the school searching for the kid. And it played like 30, not even, it played like, it played like 20 seconds. And it just starts and fades out once they like start like doing their individual things. Like it just starts, fades once they start splitting up and going, searching their own ways, and then it stops. Or at least for the most part. It does play a little bit underneath the rest of the scene, but it doesn't matter. I was still upset. That was the main song I liked, that I actually cared about going into the movie. And it turns out it's barely in it. So, it's a little nitpick from me. But that's because I personally like Pink Panthers a lot. I love her music. Alright, so yeah. Now we're going back to the Kens. They've sort of united, but it's too late. While they were fighting, the vote was enacted, and the Barbies reinstated everything from the original government. And now Ken's having a big breakdown. Oh, most of the Kens are, but Ken has a big breakdown because he, like I mentioned, he did this because he sort of he was just excited to find out that horses were a part of it in some way. And he was also doing it mainly because he wanted to get in a relationship with Barbie. Because that was his main character thing. He was really into Barbie, but she wasn't into him. And so that sort of built up a hatred that made him want to actually invest into sort of a patriarchy. So, him and Barbie talk, and of course, Ken's the most robotic motherfucker in this movie. So after being told, hey, I don't like you like that, we can still be friends, stop being creepy. He was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna go do beach. And that's the end of the sort of the main villain of this movie, because that's sort of it, besides Mattel being filled with douchebags. Speaking of, they come in, they're finally in Barbie Land 2, and they're about to, like, shut down everything or whatever. But everyone's like, no, revert everything back. And they're like, alright, cool, whatever. I forgot how it goes, whatever. So everything's back to normal. The mom, having basically saved everything, she's like, she gets one request, and she's like, can you make a normal Barbie? That's just a woman, or just a person who has cellulite and thinks about death. And the guy's like, alright, cool. After being told it'll make a lot of money, because again, they're a big corporation, they thrive off having surplus money. So yeah. So yeah. But then the old lady comes in suddenly. And she tells Barbie, hey, you can go to the real world if you want. You don't have to stay here for eternity. And after some emotional talking, Barbie does agree to it. And the movie ends on a scene where, if you're not entirely uneducated or unlearned about sort of societal norms, you would think she'd be going to a job interview. Nope. It's the second best joke of the fucking movie. Barbie walks into the building after having a little prep talk with the mom and the mean girl. She goes in. She goes up to the sort of like the waiting area, up to the receptionist, and she says her new name, which is Barbara something. It's the creator named Barbie after her daughter, which was like Barbara something. So they named the doll Barbie. So Barbie, the real Barbie in this movie, named herself after the daughter. And so she goes in there, she says her new name, and she's like, I'm here for my gynecology appointment. Which has a funny implication, because it was a big joke that they didn't have genitals before, but all of a sudden, real world Barbie has a gynecology appointment, which is good if she's a real person now with all the fleshy bits. It's good to get yourself checked. But yeah, that's it. And yeah, it's really good. It has some good messages about the society we live in now without, you know, it has the sort of right way to, you know, better the society we live in, but, you know, it's a children's movie, basically. It just so happens to be really political, which is weird because it's live action. Usually when a children's movie is really political or like subtly political, because this wasn't at all known in the advertisement. That's why I was so surprised, or at least as surprised because of the, or as surprised as I could be because of the memes. But usually when a children's movie is, you know, surprisingly political, it's animated. So it completely goes under the radar because most people will be like, oh, it's animated? Oh, it's just a kid's film. Because fuck them. They don't deserve any sort of media because of that. Do not make assumptions based on the medium it's produced. Okay? Anyway, that's sort of why I was surprised. Anyway, so yeah. That's about it. I don't really have anything else to say besides look out for a Spider-Man next week. I'm so excited, and I'm going to have so much fun playing with him until then. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Ow, I fucking bit my tongue. And I'll see you guys next Friday.